It's not that it's bad to spend money. I spend money all the time. My wife spends money too. But what really matters with financial security is, do you have a surplus? Can you establish a surplus? And a surplus, all the surplus means is that you spend less than what you make. Can you live below your means? I have a daughter that lives in Denmark. She married a wonderful guy, a wonderful melanin deficient guy in Denmark, and I make fun of him for that, but he's a really good guy. And one of the things I told her was, I said, I'm super proud of you because you're economically intelligent and you're always going to be financially secure. And she said, "What are you talking about? Like, I don't make a lot of money." I said, "It doesn't matter how much money you make." I said, what matters for you is that you live below your means. I said, I know a lot of people who are, I know a lot of people who are who make a lot of money and they don't live below their means. So they're always going to be financially stressed. They're always going to be a day late and a dollar short. They're always going to be a little bit behind. They're going to always be swimming with the water up to their nostrils. So they're going to have to remember, you were in the water and it was too high. You'd be like, right? Because you jumped in the 5 foot into the pool and you're only 4'11". Everybody did that at some point. Well, economically speaking, as long as you're spending less than what you make, then you've got this surplus, and the surplus is what you can actually invest. My friend Julian Gordon said something I thought was really great. He said something like, he said a lot of people have no income. They go to work every day, but they have no income. And so he explained it. He said that a company, when they make revenue, their income is defined as revenue minus what? Put it in the chat. Income is defined as revenue minus what? Expenses, right? So if you take the revenue, subtract the expenses, that gives you your income. Well, what if you are in a situation where your expenses are equal to or exceed your revenue? Well, then you have no income. You have no income. So what happens is that when you mix an addiction to consumption with wages that are not going up the way they should, then you end up having these deficits. Well, how are people dealing with the deficits? Credit cards. That's why consumer debt, credit card debt's at an all-time high. Student loan debt is at an all-time high. Mortgage loan debt's at an all-time high. Auto loan debt is at an all-time high. And 5 years from now, all four of those types of debt are going to be at another all-time high because the consumer is getting pushed and pushed and pushed, just like the horse in the Kentucky Derby that is being pushed to race more and more and more and run faster and faster and faster. And the way you make the horse run is you keep cracking that whip. You crack that whip. Right. So ultimately, what I would say to you is, consider ways to get out of that race. Consciousness would mean that the horse says, "Wait a minute, hold up, this ain't working for me." Right? Like, horses don't have no consciousness, so they don't know. They're just doing what they're told. And a lot of human beings are trained to think like horses. This is literally why I keep saying this. I'm gonna say this a billion times so that everybody gets it. I call this class financial consciousness. I could have called it investing 101. I could have called it how to make money. I could have called it how to understand finances. No, I said financial consciousness, because your consciousness is that first step toward having the realization that you need to understand what's being done to you. And then once you understand it, then you have to implement a solution. You got to make a plan and then execute the damn plan. And the thing about executing a plan is that there's a whole lot of people out here that do a whole lot of talking and then do a whole lot of nothing. Everything is talk, 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 talk. I don't want to talk. I want to do something. And I don't want to do it later. I want to do it now. What are we going to do today? Pick up the phone, call your cousin, and say, "Hey, let's have a financial conversation." Or call, get with your sibling and say, "Hey, that business we were talking about 3 years ago?